back in the woods.
Morning guys, Dave Canterbury at the Pathfinder School out here at the hunting camp. What I'm doing is I've taken what I would consider my survival set as far as traps go, which is 3 110 conibears we've discussed in other videos, and I've got 6 cable snares here, 7x7 3/64 cable snares with lockers. That would be what I consider a good set to keep in a bag for the unfortunate situation where you might get stuck and have to trap some meat because you're there 3 or 4 days. These traps right here will catch meat for you, beyond a shadow of a doubt. If you can get them to the trap, they will catch. And we'll talk more about that as we go through this trapping series. What I wanted to do today was, I want to talk about trap prep a little bit on these. You don't need to dip, you don't need to wax or anything else with a conibear or a snare. Most of the old time guys that I talk to at the Fur Takers of America Trappers College that do this for a living, whether it's wildlife damage control or to take fur, and a lot of fur takers prefer snares. Believe me, they're very effective. They spray paint them. Rust-Oleum camouflage spray paint. I've got dark green and dark brown. Forget black. Black is not a natural color. Black is not a color that occurs in nature. So anything you have that's black is going to stand out like a sore thumb. So you might as well just leave them the color they are when they come brand new if you're going to let them stand out. Green, black, tan. Those are the colors depending on where you're going to trap. I'm not planning on trapping around any cornfields or in cornfields. It will always be along the edges of the cornfield, within the wood line or at the edge of the wood line on game trails coming in or out. We'll talk about that as we go as well. So I'm just going to take this green and brown spray paint, random. I'm not really trying to camouflage these things at all. All I'm trying to do is make them more natural to the environment so they don't stick out like a sore thumb. It's not like I'm going to paint green, brown, green, brown, green, brown in some kind of camouflage pattern. It's not what I'm interested in. All I'm interested in is spraying the trap over. And I'll use green and brown, but I'll just use the brown to come back and hit the other side or the areas that I didn't hit with the green. And that'll give me a natural bit of a camouflage pattern. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. All you're really trying to do is cover that color of that trap and make it look natural. Be careful not to get a bunch of drips on your cable snares though, especially in your lockers, because you want those lockers to operate very freely. So you're going to want to be sparse with the paint around those locking devices. And it doesn't have to be perfect. If you miss a little patch or something, it's not a crime. It's not going to hurt anything. All you're really trying to do is keep this thing from reflecting sunlight or moonlight. There's the main reason you're messing with these snares at all, so that they're not seen as a curiosity by an animal, because then they'll start fiddling with it. Raccoons especially are very fond of shiny objects. So if you have a shiny object in your set, and you've got a set for a raccoon, he's going to be attracted to that shiny object. So you'll want to be careful with that, especially if you've got a lot of coons in the area. Okay, that's close enough on the green. I'll just let that dry for a few minutes and I'll come back and do the exact same thing and hit it with brown and call it good. Now you don't need to worry about the smell of this spray paint. They're going to smell it, but they're going to smell human odor too, and you really don't need to worry about that as much as people make out that you do either. Just let these things hang out in the weather for a little while, and that smell will dissipate very rapidly. So now I'm just going back with the brown on the other side just to make sure I got all the areas covered, or for the most part covered. And that'll give me what I need. Now you notice on these 110s I've already got safety lockers on them, and they're already compressed. That's so I don't have to set that trap or mess with that trap, trying to set that trap in cold weather. Nothing's more of a pain than messing with stuff when you're cold or your hands are cold. So the only time I want to have to mess with that is if there's an animal hung in it. Then I'll mess with resetting it to put it back in. Otherwise I want to be able to just go, and those safety lockers are going to help me from getting my hands stung in there as well on a cold day. All right, guys, well, I'm Dave Canterbury at the Pathfinder School. I appreciate you joining me for another quick video on how to prep your conibears and snares for use. People make things a lot more difficult than they need to be. Spray paint for snares and conibears is fine. I have that on very good authority. These safety hooks, safety latches that come on the 220s and 330s, go ahead and get you an S hook and put one on your 110s. I have it under very good authority as well that leaving these springs compressed is not going to hurt a thing. And I'd much rather not have to compress that spring when I get out into the field. And we'll talk about that as we get more into sets. I'm Dave Canterbury. I appreciate you joining me for another video. I thank you for your support. I thank you for your comments. I thank you for everything that you do for me, for my school, and for my family. I'll be back with another video as soon as I can.